question number 42 now. It says there were originally 4 trees in an orchard. Each year, the owner planted the same number of trees, so that in the 29th year there were 178 trees in the orchard. Which function, T of n, can be used to determine the number of trees in the orchard in any year, n? Okay, so he started out planting 4 trees in the orchard. Okay, or excuse me, there were 4 trees already in the orchard originally. Okay, so that is our starting value, 4. All right, positive 4. So I'm going to just abbreviate starting value as 4. So if our starting value is 4, we can automatically cancel out B and D, because those have starting values of negative 4, and you can't start with negative 4 trees. All right, it says each year the owner planted the same number, so that in the 29th year there were 178 trees in the orchard. So let's think about this. So he starts with 4 trees, okay, and in 29 years, so this is kind of like year 0, in the 29th year, there were 178 trees, okay? So, if we think about this, what is the change in the, this is sort of like our x and our y, all right? The years, the time is our x, time in years, and the number of trees is our y, okay? So we just make a little table here. Now we don't know what all goes in here because we were only giving year 0 and year 29's total. So if we're trying to figure this out, we can take any 2 numbers or any 2 sets of data and find the slope from there. So the slope is, again, change in y over change in x, and you can use any 2 points. They don't have to be right after each other. As long as you take one x and y pair like this and another one x and y pair that go together, you can do this. So let's figure out the change in y. It ended up at 178, and to find the difference between these two, we just subtract them. 178 minus 4. And on the bottom, we're going to take these x's, and we're going to take the bigger one over here, minus when x is 0. Well, 178 minus 4 gives us 174. And 29 divided by 0 is just 29. Okay? So then I just simplify this if I can. So I'm going to plug in my calculator, 174 divided by 29, and that gives me 6. Okay? So that means on average, every 1 year, every time the x goes up by 1, that's what the slope is telling us. It tells you how much the y changes every time x changes by 1. So every 1 year, we are expecting on average 6 trees to grow. Okay? And if you wanted to try this out, you could just do 29 years times 6. That gives you 174. Add that to the 4 you started with, and you get this total that they said was there, 178. So it's very easy to be trapped into taking just these 2 numbers and dividing them, but that's forgetting that you didn't increase by 178 trees, you only increased by 174, this total, because the 178, if that's not the change because we started with 4, okay? So it's very important that you remember to figure out what you start with, and you're going to have to take that away to figure out what the change in y actually was, which is what we did here. So if we're going up 6 trees every year, starting at 4, that correct answer would be C. T of n equals 6n plus 4. And if you're not sure, you can always just plug in your answer for n, okay? Or excuse me, the number of years for n. So let's say year 29, 6 times 29 plus 4. Plug this in your calculator. 6 times 29 is 174. And you add 4, and you get 178, okay? If you were to plug in 29 here, you would get 178 plus 4, which is 182. And that's not how many trees we expect in year 29. So we know A isn't correct, but C is. Okay? All right, so the answer is C.